This is a microwave, and this, as I mentioned before, is the magnetron found inside of it. Those red cords are, you're disconnecting all the red cords first from the aluminum capacitor, the transformer, and the magnetron. And then oftentimes I don't need anything except the copper inside of this little box here. So I just leave the magnetron intact on the microwave and do the next step that I'm about to show you with the magnetron intact installed in the microwave. Saves work for me in my microwave time trials, and it adds a little bit of weight to the final unit that you're bringing into the yard. So if you're not interested in doing a little bit of tedious work for the aluminum fins in here, and you have no interest in these magnets, which I have plenty of magnets at this point, I don't need these magnets, and these fins are, from what I hear, kind of a pain in the butt to get to, but you know, I've never really tried it myself. Let me know in the comments if you want to see these fins taken out. This one's loose, but they're not usually loose like this. It's nothing a grinder couldn't take care of pretty easily if I just cut these cross sections off here and pull some things apart. They should slide right out, but let me know if you want to see that. The brass ring needs taken off, a little mesh piece right here, and you want to be careful not to break this because it's sharp, and also if it is becoming powdery residue, it can become toxic, so careful. And if you're really going at it, you can remove these, and you see some brass here. So they're going to be brass tabs. If you have any interest in ripping those off, why not? It takes no time. Most of the work I just showed you is done. The hard part, not really hard, but the trying part is getting these plastics off of here. That's another brass. That's brass inside of there, but it just takes a little bit more fiddling to get down to the brass tacks. So, that aside, I usually use these. I actually found these on the side of the road one time, and I use them for a lot of things. If you ever get your hands on these ones are Fiskars. I know it's a really common brand to make them, but if you ever get your hand on a pair of these like heavy duty snip shears, I don't really know if I were to look this up what I would type in, but I would start with that. These are a really good tool. Usually what I do is I take these and I just go along the seam here, and I'm just going to grab it, and you see, if you can see, there's that little ridge here that gets turned into this crease, so I just grab sort of like this, and I'm going to be able to just yank that off. If I apply pressure, just wiggle it on off, it'll pop. It's a real satisfying pop. But I don't know how many people are carrying these as like an essential like I am. So, not to sound elite, but just like I'm saying, I wouldn't have those if I didn't find them on the side of the road. So, these vice grips are a little more common. These channel locking pliers, a little more common. So, we're going to go with that. These ones are pretty rusty and trusty, because they're just like plated. So underneath it gets rusty real quickly. So like I was saying, you can pull these off real fast too with these. I would probably usually use a smaller pair of pliers, but for the sake of the video, because see, I'm just getting that little piece right there. That's not very satisfying. I'll go back in with a better pair of pliers so I don't waste my time and material. But let's see how good these are for the side of this box here. Just going to grab onto it, like I said. Figure out the best angle. And it's one of those things that's going to seem like it's not working, and it's not working. What am I going to do? and then it's going to be in 2 pieces in your hand. All of a sudden, pop. Of course, now that I'm making a video on it, I've never done an angle. I've done it at this angle. Whoop. And I've never done it with this tool. But now I'm determined, so. Of course, like everything, you can always see what you have on hand and what you think is going to work for you and get creative. That's the fun of it all, right? So I got one of them free. Now you can see that's loose, and like I said, just a pop in the middle of my sentence. That goes into, I guess some people call it tin shred. I think that equates to light iron at my scrapyard. Little flimsy bits, less than 1/4 of an inch, you know. Anyway, what we're here for is that cop. Looking for this copper inside. Real easy to get a hold of. It's got a piece of ferrite in it. We're going to wiggle out afterward. So there's one free. There's that ferrite bead I was just talking about. You can see in there. Right there. So maybe use it for a little bit of leverage to get to what we want. Because we always want to get as much material as close to the root of it all as we can, so that we only leave a little tiny bead like that left, if at all. Can't say that's my cleanest cut, but I do have the tripod in front of me. Not to make excuses, just contemplating aloud. Alright, this one I'm getting a little too well. Oh, but just right. I thought I was going to take that whole bracket off with me, which is likely brass, and maybe I should if I'm being particular. But I got that nice clean cut from that copper. This is coated copper, but as you can see underneath, hopefully you can see, it still renders that pure copper sheen that we want underneath. Speaking of pure copper sheen that we want underneath, after this I'm working on my transformer video, because, as I mentioned, a lot of transformers and microwaves nowadays, depending on the brand, but also the, you know, I don't know, I guess the quality, the brand kind of goes hand in hand. But just the materials used in it depends from microwave to microwave. And the thing is, I'm going to go grab my needle nose. A lot of transformers in microwaves nowadays will be aluminum. I've actually only found one copper transformer in a microwave to date out of maybe, I don't know, a dozen that I've picked up in the last season. And so with that being said, it's pretty annoying, but I did find one, so I'm going to be taking that apart in another video for you guys. These just pop out. You just get something to push on, and bam. And you can add that right into your screw pile if you want. Nuts and bolts and whatever you're unfastening. And you got these nice little copper spools here. I don't know how much they weigh, but you know what? I should weigh them. If I could find that little scale. I should weigh these because likely all microwaves will render about the same. I'd be interested to know what that is. That weight is. Just gonna grab this mesh brass here. Very interesting that they were able to refine and reduce and refine brass down to this state, this mesh metal. Always fascinates me. The things that it takes to make the world cook. So it's a little piece of brass for your pile. If anybody wants to see my ferrous and non-ferrous toolbox piles, let me know. Thinking about doing a toolbox review. And like I said earlier, these guys, you can get right down to them. Still a little annoying. Not more annoying than any of the others. And there, now I got a nice clean piece. At least clean enough for me. No need to dig further than that. And like I said, if this was still installed in a microwave, I wouldn't even have access to that. So I'm just doing a little extra digging right now to show you, everybody, how far down to it you can get if you're feeling up to it. Depends on how far you want to go with it, like most things. So none of this is magnetic. This obviously is magnetic, but none of this is sticking. You could pull all these nubs off of here. These are the aluminum fins. And yeah, that is the magnetron. That concludes the extended version of how to tear down a microwave. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. This is one of my first long-form videos, so thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Let me know what you thought and what else you'd like to see.